Alright, take 2 of our Bride of Chucky video. I appreciate Bernie, one of our loyal subscribers, bringing it to our attention that our first one did not have audio. So hopefully this one will. Otherwise, I am going to delete the channel entirely. So, high stakes here. But Bride of Chucky, it is one of our, if not, it's my favorite horror comedy movie, in that genre. Up there with, I think, Ash vs. Evil Dead, probably. But the TV series for that, really. So this is definitely my favorite horror comedy movie. It's just, it's perfect in a bunch of different ways that we're going to talk about. And then it's your favorite movie, right?
Yeah.
Favorite movie overall. So, try to remember everything that we said before. This movie, it was one of the first movies that we actually watched together, whenever we first got together, and I had watched the Chucky movies before, the scary ones, but the kind of dumb ones like this, and then Seed. This one's not as good as Seed, by the way, just putting that in here. This one's not as good as Seed, that's what I said.
You think Bride of Chucky is worse than Seed?
Seed is not as good as this one.
There you go.
That's say, yeah, by any means, it tried to be.
What?
But it wasn't.
Fuck?
Yeah.
I was about to break up with you. I was about to be single.
Right. No, Bride is way better than Seed of Chucky is what I meant to say. So, starting off the movie, they started off great with a really good song, Rob Zombie's Living Dead Girl. And I said before, it's fitting because, Living Dead Girl, it's Jennifer Tilly, she's the living dead, kind of in the movie, so it fits well with that. Jennifer Tilly as well, her and Chucky's chemistry is really good,
Tiffany Valentine.
Tiffany, Jennifer Tilly, either way.
No.
Okay, what is it? It's not Jennifer Tilly, it's Tiffany. It's Tiffany.
Tiffany Valentine.
Okay, Tiffany Valentine. Jennifer
You can
Tilly
just call her Tiffany.
is the actress. But so Tiffany and Chucky, their chemistry together is great. They're back and forth. They feel like they used to be a couple. It really feels that way, and like they currently are. Tiffany kind of has the thing where she is into the killers and all of that. So they feel very real. It doesn't. I was surprised. Actually, I forget that Tiffany was never mentioned in the previous Chucky movies at all, because that's how well she just kind of works into it and fits. And I wouldn't really ever, I think, watch another Chucky movie without her in it, or I would, but you'd always want her there mentioned or something, right? Because they just work that well together. If you see Chucky now, you're like, oh, why isn't he with Tiffany, or why isn't he trying to find Tiffany or something like that, right? Let's see. All the one-liners we quote this movie all the time. Pretty much every single, I could go through the entire movie. Almost every inch of dialogue is quotable or funny, snappy, iconic, something. It's great. It's really good.
Definitely.
And it's not like overly cheesy or anything like that. It just works. Like with Seed, some of it just got a little bit too dumb, and with the plot and that. But even the plot of this one I like overall, because we get to, have a pretty epic last, standoff with Chucky confronting his grave, his actual grave, Charles Lee Ray, his grave, digging himself up to get the amulet and stuff. It's pretty cool. And then it has a nice a cliffhanger at the end with the baby being born from the two of them, as a nice little ending, And they continued on with Seed. I think they could have left it or not, but whatever. They've continued on the franchise, done some cool things with the franchise for sure, bringing back Andy and Colin and the older characters. They've gotten a little crazy with how much the voodoo can actually do later on, but still, they're keeping it trucking in a good way. I'm thinking they're going to have a Chucky TV series out soon that we're excited for. Just hopefully they continue on a good path. They've kind of swerved off in some ways a little bit, but what did we say in the last one? We were saying how they made Charles Lee Ray kind of crazy in Cult. They made him like a mentally ill person, because he's not really mentally ill, right? He's just a sociopath, right? but he's not like crazy. He's aware of everything that he does, right? But they made him kind of like off the wall, like when he had a girl tied up or something. I don't remember the specific scene, but anyway, no, back to. But
that definitely just didn't work. Like it was just like, this is the first time we're seeing this. It's just one of those things.
Somebody wrote it in there that it was just way out of character. But no, back to Bride. So we got of course, like I've said, Chucky and Tiffany are great, but then we have John Ritter. He's in it. He's really good. He gets an iconic kill where they say like it was a Hellraiser.
Yeah. Hellraiser so why does that look familiar?
Yeah. So they got some good dialogue in there as well to like what is it? It's self-aware of what it is. Like there's one line where Chucky's like. He says, like, yeah, if I were to tell you my whole story, it would take like 3 to 4 movies to even explain, And you get what is it, at the beginning, you get like the Jason mask and the Halloween, the Michael Myers mask.
Evidence room.
Yeah. So there's nice little references, self-aware stuff like that. And like we said, the Hellraiser reference, John Ritter, rest in peace. He was awesome, back in the day. Back in the day, I say that, but I wonder how this movie did, like whenever it first came out, like if it was in theaters or what. I've tried to find out, because it came out like the year I was born and before she was even born.
I was only not born by like a year, bro.
Well, still, that's what I'm saying. It's just like I just wonder how it did back in the day, because I think it's probably didn't do too well when it came out, but it aged and became a classic. At least to us. I know some people would still say it's not very good, but no, I think it's a classic easy. Like I said, it just does its whole. It knows what it is, and it does what it does very well. There's just so many funny lines of dialogue in here. We got the one, I know. I used to only watch bits and pieces of it when I was really young.
I know exactly which one you're gonna say.
Yeah, I used to only hear bits and pieces of it when I was really young, because Chucky used to, it was scary, give me nightmares and stuff, and my parents wouldn't let me watch it, but.
Have you got a rubber?
Yeah, that one. So, but I remember this one. My dad used to like really laugh out loud at this one, where he's like, "Have I got a rubber? Tiff, look at me, I'm all rubber."
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You can, like I said, there's so many good, like, memorable lines, and it's not even for me the nostalgia for it, right? Because a lot of things you can kind of quote and go off of just nostalgia. But it's not nostalgia for me, because like I said, I just started watching it like a year ago. And
I have no clue when the first time I watched it was, or why I even watched it to begin with. No fucking clue.
Probably, but she's seen it several times. But like I said, so have I, and it's become, iconic and like nostalgic for me, even though it's not really been as long as it has, since it came out or anything, if you know what I mean. So let's see. Trying to think of what else. Like I said, the music, not only the Living Dead girl, it's got its own little music score to it, which is pretty good. Like I said, if I really wanted to, I like a part where Tiffany, when she's in the bathtub, right, and she gets killed, her death scene, it's not even like, it's not all completely just stupid. Some of the scenes are thought out, well, and pretty, like, it's iconic, right? So Tiffany, whenever she dies in the bathtub, you got the Bride of Frankenstein, I believe it was, on the TV. And, whenever she comes back to life, it's on the TV, I'm pretty sure, where the Bride of Frankenstein is coming back to life, right? So it kind of mirrors that really well. And then you got Katherine Heigl, or however you say your last name in here. She, she's good in it, of course. She came later on to become a big actress. And then whoever the guy is with her, I don't know who he was, but he did a fine job. They play off each other really well, and I like how Tiffany's relationship parallels with their relationship. Tiffany and Chucky's relationship parallels with their relationship, where they're in the background, like seeing them have couples disputes or stuff, and they're kind of, a more experienced couple and kind of going on about it. Or Chucky will have his funny lines about it, like, yeah, I give it 6 months. 2 if she gains weight or something like that, just tons of stuff like that, where this is more of a movie where you get to see stuff from their perspective, whereas before it was more from the character's perspective, and then the dolls would do stuff to them, and then you'd get to see it like that, right? But this is more from the dolls' point of view, pretty much, where they're the main characters, right, pretty much, and it's just, I don't know, it's just really good, really funny, and just, because you can do cheesy movies where they try to do this and what this movie achieved, and it just really doesn't work. For example, we just watched something. It's called Willy's Wonderland, and I guess it was definitely trying to be self-aware and go for it, right? And it achieved it to a degree, but not to the perfect degree that this movie does. You know, I can't really pick out too many flaws with this one, because I think overall it had a pretty good story. Like I said, I like where it ended up, and the final shootout and all the dialogue, you know, works all throughout. The actors, you know, I think they all do a pretty good job, for sure. And then of course, you know, the voice actors, or the Chucky and Tiffany, you know, that's something, by the way. Both of the voice actors are amazing, right? I mean, Brad Dourif, or however you say his name, and Jennifer Tilly, both of their voices are so iconic, so good, you know, Brad especially, but yeah, Jennifer Tilly as well. They just work so well together, and they're dolls, right? It's nuts. For most of the movie, they're dolls, but it's just their voices really carry it, right? And what they have to say, and just the funny stuff. So I think that's about it. I mean, is there anything you want to add? I know we're just kind of trying to go off a memory of everything from the other video that we had already done, but yeah, it's just, as you can tell, we don't have any complaints. It's pretty perfect. Like I said, whenever everything we liked about it, we just go scene through scene, you know, dialogue through dialogue.
Literally everything's great.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
I don't know what Martha Stewart did.
And he's like, who the fuck is Martha Stewart? It's so funny, man. It's so funny. I know we had it on the background where I was like washing dishes or something, and you know, I just listened to it. I was like, man, every single thing is like, you know, it's just, we said it again and again, but every single line is it's great, right? I remember I actually quoted this movie. It was pretty smooth. I mean, I'm bragging to myself, but on our after we watched it, there's a line in the movie where he's like, you know, if I cooked, would you do the dishes? And I right after we watched it, you know, I used it on her. You know, Tiffany says a line, you know, and then the guy uses it later on his girlfriend, and then I used it on her. You know. So I'm saying it's so quotable. You know, I was quoting it right after I watched it for the first time. But no, it's great. It's great. You know, for sure. Just probably definitely my favorite Chucky movie. Still, yeah, I think so. Even out of the more serious ones, you know, it's like I think I made the comparison in the last video. It's like Thor Ragnarok, where they had Thor 1 and Thor 2. And they just did all right, but then they realized, hey, Thor works really well with comedy. So then they added in the comedy that they kind of already had sprinkled out through Child's Play, the first 3, but then they're like, let's go full-fledged into it with Bride. And I think it was just something worked.
That people really liked about Chucky. They're like, yeah, he's just funny. And then they were like, let's just go for it, man. And it worked.
The voice, yeah.
Because he's got a great character. And it wasn't something that they could deny or drown with too much.
Yeah,
Chucky's not meant to be in like a Child's Play, like just a serious ass movie. He's just not meant to be.
Yeah, he did it
with his personality like that.
Yeah, he did it without trying. I remember a line from some of the earlier movies. There was one where I think it was in the very first one. Chucky's going down an elevator or something, and the lady in the elevator, she's like, "What an ugly doll!" And as the elevator's going down, you hear Chucky say, "Fuck you." She was funny. So then they kind of embraced that more, and of course, full-fledged in Bride, and it works. But then, like I said, it got dumb in Seed, and then Colt tried to go back to some of the comedy stuff, and what was the other one? Not just Colt, Curse. Curse kind of tries to go back to some of the scary stuff too. But like I said, they're bringing back older characters and stuff, and I'm pretty sure in the TV series we're going to get backstory for Jennifer and Chucky more so. So I hope that they do it, or Tiffany and Chucky. So I hope that they do them justice for sure, because they're an iconic couple. They're as iconic, and their chemistry works as well as Ed and Lorraine Warren for me. If you know the Conjuring series, right? Mm-hmm. Just of course in a much different way.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I love everything about it. It's definitely my favorite bullshit movie. So anyway,
yeah.
I think we covered anything else you want to say, because we're about to the same time we were before, so that's got to be it, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. Watch it if you haven't.
Yeah. And yeah, we will see you in the next
Whenever.
one. Whenever.